Great
Well,
indeed.
You're hearing Skip.
Oh, and there's my
well,
feedback.
right. Well, that's your clue that we're live right there.
Rookie mistake, Nick. Well, cool. Good stuff. We got Boating Tips Season 2, Episode 3. And Captain Keith, we were supposed to have a guest today, but here we are again, solo shooting from the hip.
Well, we're working with little technical difficulties. We'll see if people behind the scenes can get him on. So we're supposed to have Grant Drogsma in with us from Jacksonville store. We'll be talking about fishing boats and stuff like that. So who knows, man? It's all live. That's why we do this. What we're doing. So you never know what's going to happen. So who knows? He may pop in here.
Oh, we'll expect him, but if not, hey, we're gonna talk about some fishing boats. We're gonna talk about really whatever the heck we want, whatever questions come along the side there. Guys, ask those questions. That's what we like. We had some great questions last week, and hopefully have some good ones again too. So, just to kind of fill you guys in for the new viewers, this is Boating Tips Live, an all new broadcast from MarineMax, where Captain Keith and I come here and on live air, you ask us these questions and you tune in and we'll have a different topic every week. And this week's topic is fishing boats. So that's what we're going to be going after. So what do you say, Keith?
So yeah, I'm coming to you from the Clearwater showroom here in Clearwater, Florida. Nick's about 15 miles down the road south at our St. Pete store. You can see we got a nice big showroom here and all that, which we're very, very fortunate. So we had a little cold front rolled through last night and the wind's blowing and it was raining but air conditioned, heated showroom, kind of helps out. So you guys are in the market for a boat, stay dry, come on over here to Clearwater and we'll hook you up.
Yeah. What's up with that? I went out of my front door today and I had a t-shirt on. It wasn't so bad. And I got in my truck. And by the time I got some MarineMax St. Pete, I got out of my truck and said, all right, it's a little chilly. Nothing, no big deal. I'm going to put a light jacket on. And next thing you know, it's blowing 30 miles an hour outside. And I need to put on a heavy jacket. It's freezing cold. It's in the 40s, 50s. But, I mean, that is some strange Florida weather right there.
Yeah, man. It's still dropping. So, and speaking of blowing 30, and that's for real. I mean, it's, there's gusts, probably pushing 40. I literally just came off the water, believe it or not. I know we're going to talk about fishing boats, but we got the 45 Ocean Alexander. Was out on a sea trial on that out here in Tampa Bay. I mean, and it is snotty. And that boat, we were running at a 50 mile an hour, taking turns, going. I mean, it nothing shook, nothing rattled. I mean, Ocean Alexander's builds yachts, and this 45 footer, is condensed down. And, it had quad, 400 Mercs on it. And golly, I mean, what a machine. It was crazy. Me, Scott Robertson was with me, the salesman. And then of course the people looking to buy the boat, and Scotty and I are just kind of just looking at each other, grinning, going, I can't believe this.
Yeah. Chris Hoekstrom said the same thing when he ran a boat up originally from Naples or Fort Myers, wherever it was. Everybody knows Ocean Alexander, for their 100-foot yachts and stuff like that, and the craftsmanship and the fit and finish is second to none. But I mean, if they're gonna produce a smaller boat like that, smaller, right? It's 45 feet long with 4 engines. But if you're gonna get into that market, it's a little bit more to create a boat that's gonna ride well as two, because they're not just gonna demolish the waves because of their sheer size like a 100-foot boat would.
Right. I mean, it's behind the Aviara, but it's back over there. But I've got the 45 OA. The pilot had the center console type when we ran, but the pilot house is sitting back here behind me, and we're talking about fishing boats. Think about that boat, right? You're going to do the middle grounds, or you're going to the Tortugas or whatever. I mean, just the comfort of being in that pilot house and closed in and all that. And then you go out on the deck and you've just got all that room. It'd be a great boat for that.
Yeah, these pilot house boats aren't quite as popular down here, are they, Keith, as you might see out on the, west coast of, California or whatever, or even up in New England. I mean, even Boston Whaler puts out, the Conquest series with a pilot house on it, but it's not real popular. But, after running for instance, the Aquila 36 Cruiser Edition, which is completely enclosed, there is something to be said about completely enclosing yourself in the air conditioning.
Yep, and just the quietness of it, the relaxation. You don't have that fatigue factor, maybe as much, although, these Verados, hell, you can't hear them anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, you pull up to a dock and you got the stereo going. You're not going to know if your engines are running or not. You turn those things on or off. You got to watch your tachometers to see if they've stopped. So, one beautiful thing about these Mercuries, just the quiet and smooth, don't even know they're running.
Oh, yeah. Go boldly. Which, by the way,
Hey, Keith Miller's on here with us watching here this afternoon. Hey, Keith.
I don't know if the chat's working. Either the chat's working or nobody wants to talk to us today. I just put something in the chat. So let's see.
There you are. Anybody
All right.
here?
Riding solo. It's lonely here. All right, guys. Drop those questions down below. Well, while we're just kind of waiting for some people to come in and ask some questions, Keith, I like the beard, man. Looking really good. I'm getting a big Santa Claus vibe.
Oh, that could be the death knell right there. So, yeah, it's still a work in progress. We'll see. Kathy's kind of, not so hot on that there. So, gotta see what happens.
Oh, really? Alex can't stand whenever I shave my face. She always tells me that I end up looking like a little kid, but I hate shaving. I do not like shaving. I think it's annoying. I cut myself all the time, but hey, you got to do it.
All right. Now we got some people coming in here. So,
all right. Not at once, everybody. Here we are. All right. Kimberly Wolf. Okay. So whether you have Ventusky, Keith, you're a big Ventusky guy, right?
Yep. I love it. I've got there's a Ventusky app. I've just got the website bookmarked on my phone, but you can go in there and determine. You can look at the prediction for wind, for waves, for precipitation. You can combine things, and it's a great app. I mean, a great website. So, kind of looking out to next Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday here in Tampa. I mean, looks like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it's going to be awesome. I mean, Saturday might even be like 80 degrees. But then Sunday, right before the game, looks like we got a front coming through. So, but that Ventusky, you can go out and look at, break days down by the hour, a week or so ahead of you. So it's good.
Yeah, it looks like Kimberly followed up the question with plotting. I mean, I don't think that you can really go wrong with the Navionics app as far as plotting goes. I've gone between Key West and Tampa completely. Oh, got my mom just joined in. Hi, Mom. And I mean, with the Navionics app, sometimes I almost think that it's better than somebody expensive equipment on the boat. Just when you get used to it and stuff, and you really fine tune it, especially when you're hopping on all these different boats, Keith. I mean, you can plot your course and get step by step directions where it might be a little bit more difficult to do that on your regular head unit.
Hey, I know I've done it, on my iPad on the phone with the auto routing feature with that. I mean, through the Bahamas, we'll go and you double check and just make sure it didn't do something crazy. But once you set up your boat's parameters in there, the shallowest draft or the depth you want to get into and all that, it's accurate. And the cool thing with that is you can actually figure out your range and your fuel burn. So if you know what you're burning at cruise and you put all that in there, you're going to know within a gallon or two how much fuel you're going to use. I mean, weather conditions are going to play into that if it's really rough. And now all of a sudden, instead of running a straight line, now you're having to go up and down. If you take a piece of string or yarn and you stretch it out, well, now you're running to have a heck of a lot further because of all the travel up and down rather than going straight. But it's the Navionics app. I mean, it's what our Simrads and Raymarines work off the Navionics card anyway. Garmin owns Navionics now, so then Garmin stuff is phenomenal, and the Garmin stuff will do auto routing as well.
Yeah, I'm a fan. Am I gonna say I trust it with my life? Pretty darn close. So There we go.
So Kimberly's up in the middle of a blizzard right now. Where are you at? Where are you, Kimberly? So I'm seeing all that stuff on Facebook and everything else. There's like, 2 feet of snow on the
Oh,
ground up
crazy
there.
numbers.
And it's, I mean, and still snowing till tomorrow, I think. Turn into a big nor'easter.
Well, I'm sure Bill knows what we're talking about. We got Bill Landon here claiming that MarineMax in Norwalk, Connecticut is the backbone to MarineMax Corporate. That's a great store up there. And yeah, I mean, every single store, we have over 70 locations right now, coast to coast, north to south, and every single store is going to be very important, whether you're right down here at the mothership in Clearwater or a sister store like St. Pete or up at a seasonal location up in New England or Minnesota. That's MarineMax, not to go into my little pitch here, is the world's largest marine service network. So there you go. Kimberly's coming in from Mass. They're getting a lot of snow.
Yeah, buddy.
Well, before we have some other questions rolling here, Keith, which I don't see many off of YouTube today, a lot of good Facebook questions. Either way, we're looking for them and we're eager to answer. Let's talk about the topic at hand, which is going to be our fishing boat. So I know you like to fish. I like to fish. We get the question a lot. Hey, I want to fish. What's the best fishing boat for me? And well, that's kind of a broad question, right? Because I think as with you're looking into getting a boat, the number one question you're going to ask is what kind of boating am I going to be doing? But okay, let's break that down a little more. Let's say, what kind of fishing are you going to be doing? Because I mean, you know as well as I do, you don't need a 65 GT to go red fishing on the flats, right? There's a right tool for each job. So that's that.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to depend too. I mean, do you want to go fast? Is range important to you? On your fuel burn? Do you want a nice, comfortable ride? Maybe you're going to go slower, and you want to, you're going to go out and sit and read the paper if anybody reads the paper anymore. But drink your coffee and just have a nice cruise out and not be in any big race. Live wells, outriggers, downriggers, electric reels. I mean, all the stuff that these boats will have. Seakeeper, are you prone to, you want to level the boat out and less wear and tear on your body and all that stuff? Do you make that investment in a Seakeeper? And a lot of our people that are true hardcore fishermen, I think, are gonna say, yeah, give me that.
Seakeeper is great for charter guys too. I mean, the guys that are used to be so limited to people getting seasick and stuff like that, and they might be calling trips, if it's going for anything other than 2 to 3s. Now you're out there in 4-footers and you're running that Seakeeper all day. You're not beating everybody up. People aren't getting as seasick. And also, one thing that a lot of folks don't realize with the gyro stabilization is, I mean, when you're getting thrown around a boat all day, no matter how used to you are, it takes a toll on your body. And when the boat's not rocking as much, I mean, it's refreshing. It really is. It's it's a whole different experience for everybody from a bunch of different angles. So that's my take on that.
Yep.
Looks like we have had the same question asked 3 times now. Why does MarineMax sell the brands that they sell? Well, Keith, you wanna kind of intro that? Great question, Lisa from Clearwater.
You're in the sales end of it, Nick. You go for that. Okay.
All right. How much time you guys got?
We've got another 45 minutes.
So MarineMax is
Sit back and listen.
MarineMax is going to sell the brands that they sell. If one, it's going to line up with our mission statement, and it's going to line up with our values and stuff like that, which is truly, I mean, it really is. I mean, even from the outside looking in, MarineMax won't take on a brand if it's not a premium brand, if it's not a premium experience. You can buy a boat from anywhere. You can buy a cheapo brand from Bob's Boat Mart down around the corner, and quite frankly, yeah, you could probably get it for a little bit more money. However, if MarineMax is going to take on a brand, you better believe that they're going to stand behind that brand. And there's a lot of really smart people over at our corporate headquarters that do a lot of research and gain a lot of knowledge on the boats that are going to treat their customers the best. Because I mean, we see it all the time with MarineMax being a publicly traded, the world's largest boat and yacht retailer. If they're going to put the MarineMax stamp of approval on it, it's going to be premium. I'm talking about your Grady Whites. I'm talking about your Boston Whalers. I mean, shoot, your Scouts even in some locations. Then you flip that switch over to Sea Ray boats. You know, they're going to be the cream of the crop for that segment. And even when MarineMax is going to take on a brand such as, you know, a lot of these value brands, they're going to make sure that they're top-notch value brands, like your Nautic Stars and your Sailfishes and stuff like that. It's well worth it, and that's why they sell the brands that they sell, Lisa, because it's only the best. And we've dropped a lot of brands too. I mean, Keith, shoot, how many brands have you seen dropped over the years because they're just not
Yeah, I
lining
mean,
up with what we're standing behind?
we've had some, come and go, and it's probably because it's on the service end of things, right?
Mm,
If 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 we find we're consistently having some issues with certain models or certain boats, and the manufacturer, whoever it is, isn't holding up their end of the bargain and delivering what we demand, and our service team can't, so the customer submits something for warranty, and we go to the boat dealer, and they're, for whatever reason, they're not paying or they're slow, or whatever the all the political stuff is behind the scenes, which, that's all taken care of up there, team support up at the corporate office. But, we're not going to be selling a product that we don't have the confidence in standing behind and making sure that, the customers, going to exceed their expectations and have the best experience possible.
mm. Oh yeah, and it's funny because a lot of people have bought boats from other places, and I delivered a 345 Conquest last weekend, which is a cream of the crop Boston whaler. It's a big whaler. And, I was doing my orientation. I started making my punch list. And the guy's like, what do you mean you're making your punch list? Well, if that's like that is right there, that piece of caulking or whatever. And albeit whalers come from the factory pretty darn tight, I will say that. And there was a couple little things, and they're like, whoa, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, it's a punch list. We're gonna make this right. Little minor things that usually people really wouldn't care about. But, MarineMax is going to stand behind any new boat they put out. Any used boat, this is something that is going to, you're taking a risk in the private market. But any used boat, if we're going to take in a trade and we're going to sell it, that boat's going to be tight. It's going to be checked through. It's going to go through a 150-point inspection. And we probably wholesale 80% of our trades. Because if it's not nice, then we're not going to sell it and we're not going to stand behind it because, we're just going to let somebody, a wholesaler, put in a lot somewhere or something like that and, have him risk his reputation. MarineMax isn't going to risk their reputation over a boat that's going to give somebody problems.
Yep. We've got a brand new trade just came in this weekend, sitting out back, and, we're going to go through and refurbish it and all that. And as a matter of fact, I can't believe it's not sold. It might have sold today. It probably did, but we've got a 33 outrage out there that you ought to be all over the place with there, Nick.
We are. We're chomping at the bits in my store once we found out about it. And it'll sell soon. It is. I mean, it's, with the wait list for some boats nowadays, it's just like, that's why the used boat market is red hot, because you get a used boat. Any used boat can come in on trade any single day, and you just got to be ready to jump on it because it could be gone like that. And, your other option is going new, which, if you can wait, there's nothing wrong with going with a new boat. It's just, shoot, even some boats are, 6, 7, 8, 9 months out right now.
We've got 0 Sea Rays here in the store.
Yeah, I was thinking about that today. I just got it. I got another Sea Ray top of the props jacket today. And
congratulations, by the way. What is that?
It's top of the props. So every year they take all the salespeople, not just at MarineMax, but in the whole country. And, for the Sea Ray guys, once you get a certain amount of points, they start giving you pretty cool prizes. So we've got a few guys at this store in the top of the props running. And I know at your store you have a few also. And they send you a lot of really cool stuff. This is a Under Armour jacket, and yeah, it's just, the only problem right now is getting Sea Rays, but we are getting some Boston Whalers in. But, we're getting a lot of those Montauk's and Super Sports in. If it's anything like it was last spring, those little Montauk's and Super Sports, they're the first to go. And next thing you know, they get backed up. But we did get a bunch of Nautic Stars in. And actually, the lead time is not so bad on Nautic Stars right now. I had a guy order a 2302 Legacy here last week. And I mean, shoot, he's going to have the boat by the end of next month, which, I mean, he's going to have it right in time. That's going to change. That's going to change. Give it 2 months from now, have another couple dozen orders placed. Next thing you know, you're 6 months out.
Yep. And then new model year coming out, and prices are going to go up again.
Yep. You'll get them right now, put your deposit down, and on some models, they're actually already in a 2022 model year. But for the ones that are 2021s, hop on it. You could, if you're looking for a deal, you could get it. Got Bill Landon giving a shout out. We got Dave Drazilla is selling boats even with 12 inches of snow on the ground right now. I love your show, guys. Keep up the good work. Bill, thank you so much for watching. And I don't know if I'd be able to keep up with Dave up there selling boats and snows on the ground. If we got snow on the ground here, Keith, if we got an inch of snow, they'd probably shut down the whole state for a couple days.
They almost did, man. It was what, 1977, like a couple days ago, the end of January 1977. I was a sophomore in high school, and it started snowing, and we got a good about almost probably half an inch that actually stuck.
Really?
Yeah, crazy. Everybody's freaking out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, nobody knows how to drive in it. I mean, I want to know how to drive in it.
Nah, I can't either. I went and visited my sister years ago up in Indianapolis, and it was snowing and blizzard and whatever, and these cars are wiping out all over the place. We actually she actually drove us into a ditch, got out. There's a state trooper. There was somebody else couldn't get their car up, and the guy like calls me. He goes, "Hey, can you drive this lady's car up the hill?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm from Florida." He goes, "Never mind."
Yeah, stay off the road.
Yep. Nope.
Hey, look, there's a guy we haven't seen in a while. We've got Gabriel Gonzalez. Greetings from Mombasa. Thanks, Gabriel. Thanks for joining us today and tuning
Glad
in.
you're checking back in with us.
Yeah, Keith was worried about you before the show. He was telling me, he said, "Man, I hope Gabriel's all right."
Probably got locked up somewhere.
Yeah, well, probably for the better, huh, Gabe?
James Eduardo, what's the advantage and disadvantages of brokerage boats? So I think Nick was just kind of talking about that, actually. Something we get brought in here, traded in, used boat, previously enjoyed. We're going to go through that boat and make sure the electronics are working. And, if it's a stern drive boat and it's, manifolds, risers, elbows, exhaust, they're going to go through and they're going to check everything out. So when you get that boat, you've got our standing behind it. Now, a brokerage boat, you're going to hire a surveyor, and they're going to find what they can find, and give you a suggested punch list of, okay, this should be taken care of, whether it's whatever it is, right? Bilge pumps or oil samples may not come out right. I mean, you always want to do a survey on a brokerage boat, and then then it's up to you and the seller, or the buyer and the seller, to kind of work out who's going to pay for what. And once you accept that vessel, that's yours. You're not going to on delivery day be able to go to MarineMax and say, "Hey, look, this didn't work," or whatever. Gabriel, we love the show. Keith is D's man for boating needs in Mombasa. Spotty connections here, my brothers.
Well,
Gabriel, always good.
He's good. Looks like we got a good question. Landon D. Graph. Only ever fish in freshwater. What are the biggest differences if I test it out in a Gulf? Well, if you're in the Gulf, you're going to be fishing in salt water, Landon, and the fish are going to be bigger. They're going to be a little bit toothier. Yeah. They're going to be a little bit more diverse. You're going to have a lot more species to catch. Shoot, in the Gulf of Mexico, you can probably count up over 100 different species of fish that you can target, all without leaving the state. Whereas, in freshwater, you're probably only going to be targeting a few species. And I might catch a little bit of heat from this, but at least in Florida, I don't know many people that are eating freshwater fish. A lot of times they say that it'll taste like the swamp it came from or whatever. But it's funny because I don't know if you've ever been up to the Midwest or Wisconsin or whatever, but fish fries are huge up there. There's cold water, freshwater fish, your perch, your bass, your
Perch.
anything. I mean, you have fish fries up there. The restaurants get all packed up and stuff like that. But I mean, you think you're eating grouper. I mean, they don't taste like what we think is a freshwater fish down here. I mean, there's cold water fish that a lot of guys are catching ice fishing. That's a whole different ball game.
Yeah, those perch are good. Yeah, they know how to fry those things up. Hey, but also, I mean, seriously though, like a guy that's used to bass fishing, stuff like that, he comes down here. I mean, to fish for snook and stuff like that. I mean, redfish. You can, there's not a lot of difference in that, really. I mean, you can go up and fish underneath docks, and structure, just kind of like what you do for the bass, and it's very similar actually.
Oh yeah, how many guys do you know that catch redfish on spinner baits?
Yeah. Yep. Spinner baits, spoons, top waters, anything and everything. Hey, but speaking of toothy, just reminded me, did you see that great white? I know you did. Last week, that video, it's out there. Man, was that cool? So
That was awesome.
there was a great white shark about what, 200 foot of water, I think they were, like 65 miles southwest of like Egmont Key, basically. Glass calm day. And this great white shark comes up to the boat and just kind of cruising around, just nonchalantly, not aggressively, but coming up and just kind of like mouthing at the engines, and just kind of hung around with the boat, swims by. Captain actually reached over and kind of petted it on the nose. Then it does a summer, and then he rolls over on its back, belly up.
That was cool.
And just laying there and just kind of chomping his mouth, just water shooting out and stuff like. I mean, it was an amazing video, So you'll be able to find it out there if you just great white Tampa Bay or something.
Great whites are awesome, man. We're gonna go into a little bit of a story time right now. When I grew up fishing, I spent all my time up in Cape Cod, Massachusetts, charter fishing in Cape Cod Bay, and then around on the backside and stuff like that. And when I grew up, I mean, you think great whites and stuff like that. I mean, shoot, Jaws was filmed up there, on the islands, down south of Cape Cod. But anyways, I never saw a great white. I fished from the time I was a little kid up there, and then through the time being a teenager, every single day on the water, 12 hours a day. And I never saw a great white shark. And then I'll never forget it when I was a sophomore in high school. There's whales all over the place up there. And then I finally saw my first great white breach, and it was a big one too. And that was when I was 16. And it was right behind the boat. It breached. It came clear out of the water. Damn. And everybody talked about it, right? And then the next year, a lot of people were starting to see him breach. Year after that, there was great whites all over there. And then by the time I was done with my, professional career, and then I came to MarineMax, I mean, it wasn't even like you weren't seeing a great white shark a day. You were seeing multiple great whites a day. And I don't think people really understood how many were up there. And because they've got a lot of seals. They've got a ton of seals up there. If the seals come, the sharks are going to follow. I mean, you'd see sharks every day. You'd see them breach. You'd see them on the side of the boat. Just when they're swimming, and they don't care what you're doing. They own the ocean. They're not going to move for anybody. If they move, they'll just go down nice and easy. You see them eating fish. You see them racing all over the place. And I mean, it's probably one of the most impressive things to see a great white like that up close. I would not want to be in the water with one, but that's just me. But they are truly the most amazing creature. And you can see them on National Geographic. You can watch them on Shark Week. But a white shark up close in personal is the most amazing nature experience, in my opinion, that you can have on the water, as long as you're in the boat, or else it'd probably be pretty scary.
That's awesome.
But it's crazy too. And there's so much to learn about them too, Keith, just where they breed and stuff, and just how much of a diverse species they are, whether they're up in New England eating seals, or they're down in Florida in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico. There's no seals out there. What are they doing? I don't know. Are they out in California? Are they in Australia? Are they in South Africa? Cold water, warm water. I mean, there's a lot to learn. And I think that's awesome.
They got fins and tails, man. They're gonna go wherever they want.
Yep. Looks like we got another good question here from from Lisa. Got a couple good questions on there. Got a question from Lisa Harrison. For fishing boots, I always think of center consoles. Why would someone choose a dual console fishing boot? Keith, what do you think about that, man?
It's just a different feel. You might, your husband and wife, and she may not, want to be sitting there like in the center of the boat and, have the two sides go around. You got the dual windshield, dual consoles. You can close the whole, front of the boat off. Basically, you'll have a door, down that you can adjust and swing and close. You can close the windshield. You can get down below that. You can get out of the weather. You'll typically on that port side, you may have a little wider seat. So you got a couple different, two people can sit there. The configurations are all a little different, but it's a combination kind of boat, right? Instead of just strictly for fishing, the dual console, then you got like the bow rider aspect of it. You can go and sit up there and lounge, and somebody else can be fishing in the back, the live wells back there. We were just kind of talking about it earlier in the beginning of this. Do you want something that's fast? Do you want something that's, slow and steady and got a lot of comfort? And that dual console, like our Vantage boats here, are going to give you the combination of the two. You got all the creature comforts of a nice day boat, but yet you got a live well. You can, your rod holders and wash down and all that. You can do both.
And another crazy thing now, even with even with the center consoles that you're seeing such a trend today of all these center consoles are becoming a little bit more family oriented. You're seeing more options for bow seating. You're seeing more options for sunshades all over the place. Your center consoles of today aren't exactly your hardcore fishing machines of the past for the most part. I mean, those boats still are out there. I mean, I love them. But, your Boston Whalers and, your Nautic Stars and stuff like that, your Scouts, your Grady Whites, I mean, they all have all that plushness, whereas, a lot of them are going to have heads on them. I mean, a 21 Montauk, for crying out loud, has got a bathroom in a center console. Who would have thought? And, some of those center consoles, they're not as rugged as they used to be. With that being said, if you're planning on being a little bit more family orientated, then yeah, the dual console is probably the right boat for you. But yeah, Lisa, you're absolutely right. If you want to go fishing, all caps, the center console is the way to go. Thank you. Yep.
So what that center console is also going to do for you, Lisa, is if you're fighting a fish, like Nick and I like to kingfish, right? Or we're tarpon fishing, you're just not standing in the back of the boat and reeling that fish straight up and down and into the boat. That fish is going to run. You're going to have to go, and you may have to do, who knows, half a dozen laps around the boat, as it runs to the bow and turns to port. And, you can follow that fish around. You don't have any structure or anything in your way to be able to do it. So, round and round you go until the fish finally tires out and you get it up to the boat.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we got an interesting comment over here from Sido Sayed over on Facebook. Why don't you open a MarineMax in Egypt in the Red Sea? I think it would be very good for business and a show for your part. Well, that's a good question. And, I follow a few pages on Instagram, Keith. There's quite a fishery over there, too. And they're really into spearfishing. They're really into spearfishing over there. And they've actually got a pretty awesome fishery in the Middle East.
Yeah, I'm clueless on that. I mean, I haven't seen or looked up anything like that, but who knows, man? MarineMax is expanding like crazy.
They get these things called, I think they call them Spanish mackerel, but they're actually a kingfish, but they've got some stripes on them, and they're like over 100 pounds, and they spearfish them, and
Wow.
they're pretty cool. Look them up.
Will do.
So good stuff. Speaking of fish and speaking about boats here, before we sign off, shoot, I didn't realize it's already 3:35, Keith. What kind of deliveries you got coming up this weekend?
Another Sea Ray 320 dancer.
What's new?
I know, man. I mean, we're cranking them out of here.
You are.
So as soon as there are pre-sold, but they come in on the truck, unwrap it, put it together, and get it out the door, and people on their way. So, got some Nautic Stars going. Got that 32. We demoed and sold a 405 Conquest last week. They demoed it out of here. Sarasota sold that. So
Oh, was
that
it the
boat,
one with the 450s?
yeah, buddy.
Did you get a
Thing
chance?
ran.
Did you ran it? You ran
Yeah,
it?
yep,
Ran awesome, huh?
ran great. So I'm trying to remember. I think it was like it was full of fuel, 5 people. I think we were at like top end around 62 mile an hour, something like that.
In a 405 Conquest.
Yeah.
What is that? A 40,000 pound boat?
Yeah, I'd have to look it up on the app, but yeah, it's a big old beast. I mean,
Wow.
yeah. Yeah, it's a great running boat.
That's awesome. I want to run one of those.
You'll get your chance.
Yep, in due time.
Forget about running them. Go sell one or two or a dozen.
Yeah, you're telling me. But no, let's see, what do I have? I've got a 17 Montauk coming in here off the truck. The guy actually only ordered it a month ago. That timeline was pretty quick back when he ordered it. And going to pick up some of these big Aquilas from their top secret place here coming up in the next few days. Did you get it? Have you been on one yet?
No, I had deliveries that day. They went over there and looked at them. Everybody came back raving, though. Just like, what can you say? I mean, the 70 is just in a world of class all its own, and then that 54, people ran it and stuff, and very, very, very impressive.
Yeah, we'll do good with them.
So, and then we got some 28s coming our way here, probably 6 weeks or so, I guess. The center console, which I know you've had a chance to run that because you guys are the Aquila headquarters down there. Mm-hmm. But we got a whole boatload of them coming over sometime in March.
Yeah, and they did a good job with that hull design specifically. I'm not going to get too much into details because I don't know.
We can talk about that when we get them,
Yeah, we'll talk about that when we get them. But that hull design, I mean, shoot, I've said it before. Catamarans are the way of the future. And give it 10 years from now, you're going to see a lot more catamarans on the water. Now that they look nice, I mean, the ride is superior and the space and stuff like that. So, yeah, that 28 is going to definitely change a lot of stuff. And I can't wait to have an episode on that, especially once we get that whole shipload of them coming in. Speaking of shiploads, we have a really exciting topic next week that I am very excited about. The game has changed. The boat buying process has changed. The boat selling process has changed. And more often than not, if you're looking for a boat, it's not going to be on the lot at your local MarineMax or any MarineMax in the country for that matter. So what's everybody doing? They're ordering boats. And we have Stephanie Achimovich from MarineMax Orlando. She is a sales consultant, and I'm going to say it, she is one of the most product knowledge-driven sales consultants that I've ever worked with in my entire career, and she knows her stuff, and she's going to be walking us through the order process from start to finish. So I'm excited about that.
That'll be a great show. I mean, yeah, and you're right. She knows her stuff. I've, over the years, she's been over here demoing a lot of the boats and stuff like that because obviously they're in Orlando. They're not on the water. And so, they come over here quite a bit and, run our boats. And it'll be a good show.
Yeah, we're all gonna
as long as we got to make sure the technical challenges we've had the last 2 weeks are addressed because 2 weeks ago we lost Larry, and then this week we never got Grant started. So we'll see. Third time's a charm. We'll get Stephanie on here. Won't be any issues.
We'll get it figured out. But what are you gonna do? Right?
Hey, roll with the punches, man. You just wing it.
Yep, we have our health, so that's that. Let's see. All right, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. You can find us here every single Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern time, whether you're watching on Facebook, whether you're watching on, let's see, where else are we streaming now? You can find us on Instagram, you can find us on YouTube, most importantly, at MarineMax, and Spotify, Apple Music, iHeartRadio. Download us, check us out, and drop those questions down below, and we'll get to them next week.
Sounds like a plan. Great seeing you again, Nick. Good being on here with you.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the continued education.
Well, and thanks to all our loyal, I don't know if you want to call them fans or what do you call these people that listen in to us?
Followers, fans, the
partners,
the band of boaters that are united by water. You heard it here first.
There you go.
So Keith, be safe out there. I know we got a front coming through. I know it's some less than ideal weather, and if you do happen to go out on a boat, just stay safe, and I'll see you out there.
I was out there a couple hours ago. I'm done. I'm in.
All right, man. We'll have a good time on those deliveries, and I look forward to seeing you here next week.
Yeah, man. See y'all. Take care. See you on the water.